Well, it's Hope at Crafty Hope here, and welcome. All right, it is time for the week 21 mixed media prompt project that is part of my hashtag Crafty Hope prompts. If you are new here, welcome. I'm building myself a prompt deck using playing cards and drawing 3 prompts a week. I welcome you to play along. You can use the prompts I draw, or I have got a full list of the prompts below. Like I said, I'm on week 21, but if you want to go ahead and start now, go for it. Use my prompts any way you want. Just use that hashtag Crafty Hope prompts and tag me at Crafty Hope. If you can't tag me, that's fine. But if you're going to share it, definitely use that hashtag. And hopefully I will see what you make using these prompts in this whole idea of a prompt project. Like I said, for week 21, I've got 3 prompts, and we're going to get to that in just a second. But what I think I'm going to do is a giveaway, y'all. I'm just about, and I may, by the time this video goes up, have hit 4,000 subscribers. So since I am so close to that, and I want to go ahead and give y'all a thanks. So I think I'm going to make a tag today, and I'm going to have it as part of a giveaway. Hopefully I'll be able to mail it out anywhere. I don't do a whole lot of international shipping, but we'll see how that goes. I will announce, I think I'm only going to do it for a week, so I'll announce the winner next week for the week 22, during the week 22 prompt project, and I'll ask you to email me with that. So if you're interested in the giveaway, what I make today, then comment below and let me know what you want to see here, why you keep coming back, why you're watching, if there's something you want to see from me that I haven't made. Let me know in that comment box below, and let me know that you're interested in the giveaway. That way, you know, because there may be some people who don't want this tag but want to let me know what they think. So I want to thank all of you for subscribing and playing along. This giveaway is not associated in any way with YouTube. It's just, you know, a thank you to those who do come back and watch. So make sure you are subscribed and all of that. All right, let's get to it. My 3 prompts today are non-dominant hand, which I will bring into this in some way. I more than likely will use my left hand, my non-dominant hand, to do some doodling of some kind. Probably not writing, that's not my jam. But doodling, I have found that I like when I made this card, I really loved those gold circles that I doodled. They are the best. I'm not as completely keen with the stripes I did on this side. But that's it. Okay, also grunge board and chipboard. You can see I've got my grunge board pulled out, I think, and I've also pulled out, where are they? A couple other pieces. This is a chipboard piece, I think, from Michael's, and this is one of the grunge board pieces I've already pulled out. So I think I want to use from this grunge board set this set of wings, and you can, if you know me, you probably already know what I am going to do. So I've got my wings out. I will put this grunge board up and get it off my desk. So that's my grunge board and chipboard. And then for marker, I went ahead and pulled out those illustration and alcohol markers that I have. Like I said on Monday, these are from Five Below. Y'all, that's a company. Everything in the store is, well, not everything. They've got like everything else, they've got a more expensive section, but the majority of things are $5 or below. So each of these sets I paid $5 for. I hardly ever use them. So I had to do some experimenting. For one, I wanted to see if they worked on a paper doll. You can see here, I colored her top here. I also colored her face. I don't know if you can tell that. And I put a little bit of a lilac on her skirt. And I more than anything wanted to see if the color would stay. And it did. So that is good to know, because I will probably be bringing in this paper doll to my tag. I believe she fits. Yeah, just barely. Hopefully we can get something awesome so I can send it to one of y'all. So that is my, oh, I also did some experimenting with the markers to see, because these 2 sets are considered alcohol markers or alcohol ink markers. I was wondering if they would be altered by alcohol. So I splashed some alcohol on it. I put alcohol into a brush pen and tried to do some lines. And these 3 here are the alcohol markers. And I don't know if they're just so pale, but there's really not a whole lot. These two are the illustration markers, and you can see the splashes on this one and some of the lines on that one. And more than anything, that was just an experiment, so I would, the backs are neat too. So I could see if that was something I wanted to maybe put on my card. So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how to work these markers into this tag. I have talked plenty long enough. It is time to get to it, to get making this tag. And yeah, I'm gonna stop talking. We're gonna do this. And this was a really long process, but I really enjoyed kind of playing with this. As you can see, I have got those wings and that crown. I end up not using the crown or that piece from Michael's, but the wings, the grunge board wings, are totally going to be brought in here. Stopped and thought for a minute, trying to decide what I was going to do, if I wanted to gesso the grunge board, but I figured, let me see what these markers will do straight onto the grunge board, just as an experiment. You know, I didn't know, and I figured if it didn't work, I could gesso over it. So yeah, I'm starting with this. I don't know, I was really drawn to this like seafoamy pale green color. And that, for the majority of this card, is the only marker I'm going to use. So I decided to, yeah, you can see, color that grunge board wing. I'm using the fine tip on the other end to do the edges. And then I'll go and do the other wing. I'm doing, like, you can see, several passes over the top of it to get that color. And it worked out really neat. I don't, you know, if I had this to do over again, maybe I would go ahead and go in with the, whatchamacallit, with the gesso, but only because it might, the next thing I do, it might have done something different. So I don't know. I don't know. It's fine. It was an experiment. I don't use these markers, and I'm glad I pulled them out and have experimented. So here's a darker green of one of those alcohol ink markers, and I decided to just add some like designs on the wings. So I'm making little, I don't know, lines with dots on them, and then some dots, and kind of making them look a bit more like butterfly wings almost. So I'm going to doodle on those for a little bit with that darker green. And I think the hardest part was when I tried to do the same lines over on that left side. And maybe I should have brought in the non-dominant hand portion here and made it a little more organic. But yeah, I don't know. And y'all, look at me. I'm thinking so long. I've got that finger tapping going. Just thinking. So here I'm gonna go, and yeah, I started freaking out. I was like, oh wait, are those lines the same? These aren't the same, and it's not. They're not gonna be the same. They're not gonna be perfect, and that's okay. They're a minor detail on here. I think it just kind of adds to the effect to have these lines. So I've got those on there. They look really neat here. In person, I was not as keen on them. And yeah, more finger tapping, more thinking. I put my elbow down, and I decided to bring in this as a Liquitex gold medium. I actually do not know what it's supposed to be for. I don't know. I've tried it in several different things, but when I found it, I thought, ooh, let's see what this does. It's really transparent, y'all. As a medium tends to be. So I've been using it just to add a touch of gold on things. So I'm going over the top of these wings with it. And this partly, I guess, seals in some of that marker, but it also gave like a little bit of a gold shimmer to the wings. So I thought that was kind of neat, kind of, give it a translucent feel to them. And so I am looking at all of this, and you can see that crown is still sitting there, but I ended up just thinking it would be far too much. So I've pulled out that light green marker again, and I don't know. I was real hesitant to go ahead and color that paper doll. I don't know why. I can buy more of them. Tim Holtz makes them. It's something I can purchase if this doesn't work out. And I had a whole other stack. I don't even know. Maybe you can see them. I can't tell if that's them or not on there. But I had a whole other stack of paper dolls that would have worked with the wings too. So this is just the one I picked out. And I think partly so I could color on her, since her dress is all white and everything. I knew the color would show up a little bit better. So I'm going in first with the fine tip of this marker, just trying to get some of the details. And then I'll turn it around and use the broad end to get the bulk of her dress. Now you may be able to see at some of the pictures at the end that this has like some streaks and flaws, I suppose. But I kind of like that. I think it really enhances the vintage look of this to have some of those like streaks and lines and flaws. So I like it. I don't know how you think. I could have really worked on this and gotten it perfect and darker and all of that, but I wanted it to be a little fade and mysterious and cool. So I've got her colored and I'm going to leave her the way she is. I thought about using the darker green too to maybe do some other things, but no, I changed my mind. But you can see that those two greens, even though that was the exact same green marker for both the wings and the doll, that they worked out to be different colors. And that could be, I think, the absorbency of those two materials, that the paper doll doesn't really absorb the marker the way that the grunge board does. So I think that's all that is. I think it's just a matter of experimenting with different things. So I'm starting over on my tag now. This is as you see, a craft cardstock tag. I really love the color of craft cardstock, so I don't intend on covering the whole tag. I'm going to leave some of it exposed, but I do want to add some texture and interest to the background. So I'm using collage. I've got that dictionary paper there that I am going down with using my Uhu glue stick. And I'm going to just overlap it in several areas. Like I said, not cover the whole thing. I just didn't want too many points and edges and that kind of thing. So yeah. Once I get that done, I'm going to go ahead and grab, I think, that other piece of dictionary paper that I had experimented with some of my coloring. And I've got that like dark teal green there that that was one of the illustration markers. So I liked the splatters. I like that color. I was like, it'll go well with the green of my girl and her wings. So yeah, I'm going to stick those down. And it's pretty. In fact, one of the things I do here later, that bottom portion down works beautifully with it. It wasn't until actually I was editing the photos that I was like, oh my gosh, look what it did there. So I hope we'll get to that in a bit. So now it's time to bring in my non-dominant hand at long last. And I'm using my Stabilo All pencil and doing more super sketchy circles. These are not connected like boulders like I kind of had in the card. This is more like free form floating bubbles, really. So, and I'm kind of making sure that they go off the card to like, is it here? Yeah, where it's going to go. I've only got portion of one of those bubbles, and then over on the left I've got one, and down on the right I've got one. So and I also, I'm kind of sticking, you see, toward the left of this because I know my paper doll is going to go on the right of the card because of the way her hand is positioned. So, and now to further use my left hand, I've got a paintbrush. I'm putting some water on and I'm going to activate that Stabilo with that left hand. So, and it was getting, when I was doing this, it was getting on toward a stopping point. So I was trying to get to a stopping point, but at the same time, get this worked on. So I really like these. I'm definitely glad I pulled the non-dominant hand prompts because it reminds me that I do love the sketchiness of this and really should, when I go to do mark making especially, should bring that technique in because it works perfectly. All right, so I'm trying to think, what did I do next? Oh, I decided that I wanted this to feel a little bit more like me, so the next couple things are definitely, So first, because I already got that gold medium on her wings, I want to bring a little more gold into the card, and so I'm scraping at the bottom of the barrel here, trying to get out some of that Liquitex gold ink. I may have to run up to the craft store today and get some more. So I'm just going to use a fan brush and splatter that. First, I'm covering up my girl to make sure she doesn't get gold splatter on her. And I'll splatter that just straight on my card and then dry it. Once it's dry, I wanted to age this up and grunge it up a bit, so I'm bringing in the instant coffee. This is just basic, not basic, it's a certain brand of coffee that I like, the Nescafe. I'll put a link to it below. That's the dark roast, and I really like this one. It doesn't get sticky the way some of the cheaper ones have. But I just put that down in a couple places, and then I'm splattering it. This is all just texture, y'all. So I dried it and blotted it, and while I was drying it, I thought, what else would really look good on here? And I thought, oh, yes, some crackle paste. That would make this so yummy. So right there, this little bit I'm putting down on that bottom left, y'all, that over the top of that bit of marker paper is so divine. You'll see it again in the pictures or after this crackles. So with crackle paste, the thicker you put it on, the bigger the crackles, and the thinner, the smaller the crackles, and I have found is best to leave it to air dry. So that is what I did. I left it to air dry while I went and ate some lunch, and I came back and it was perfection. So I did have one little piece roll up, but you can see just gluing it back down with the Oohoo worked fine. So it's time to start kind of figuring out how I want to put my girl down. And there is a lot of stuff I cut out of here. This was, this is still almost 23 minutes long, and I cut out a ton of finger tapping and weirdness and all of that. So I've brought in this I'm going to ink the edges of the wings, and also I think my girl with distress ink. Distress ink and walnut stain. So this is something Ricki Tikki Tavi, Ricki Milbra, I can't ever remember Ricki's last name, Milbra, something like that. Sorry, Ricki. Does a lot of inking of her stuff, and I realized that it really is a great finishing touch. And it's one of those things I know, I just forget. So I've been watching a lot of her craft and chats, and so some of her little things make me think, why don't I do these little finishing things? So here I am inking the edges and loving it. It's if you saw yesterday's video, and y'all, if y'all haven't seen yesterday's Seek Gather Create video, I highly recommend you go watch it. It's one of my favorite things I think I've ever made. So go look at that matchbox. Okay, so I've got all my edges inked on here, and at this point I think it was time to go ahead and glue the wings on. So I'm using E6000 since my grunge board is really heavy, the paper doll is kind of heavy, and this way I can, get it down exactly where I think it belongs. And I think I'm going to pull in some clothespins just to use as like clamps to make sure those stick where I want them to stick. And while I've got that inked up, I decided let's go ahead and ink all the edges. I think I also end up going over the crackled areas with the ink to just accentuate all of those cracks. So look what you've done to me, Ricki. You've got me inking all the things, and thank you for that. All right, so there I am inking up my crackled areas a little bit. All right, I'm trying to think. So is this where I bring in my clothespins? At some point, I'm like, the wings kept slipping a little bit because the E6000 wasn't quite dry. I love E6000 because it gets tacky. Things will stick to it pretty quickly, and I don't know, it doesn't cure completely for a little while, and what does, you can usually, like if you get it on your fingers or it comes out the edge of something, you can usually pull it off. So it hit me the other day that the chip quotes are called chip quotes because they are chipboard, and they would be a perfect thing to bring into this this prompt. So I found the one that says use your wings, which I thought, hey, that's perfect for this little card. And I put more E6000 just on the portion of that that's going to be on the card, because both it and my fairy girl are going to be hanging off on certain areas. So, and then here I decided to adhere her to the tag with some, what is that called, like foam tape things, just because the way she's going to sit with the wings and the way she's sitting on that chip quote she's popped up a little, and that would be the best. Yeah, it just, I kept going over different things. Like, I thought I was just going to use the E6000, but no, this worked so much better. So I'm getting all that stuck down, having to cut a little bit of it down some, and yeah. So I'll peel off the back of this double-sided foam tape. And I think, I'm not even sure where I got that. I buy it whenever I see it in different sizes. So, and I'm trying to make sure her hand rests between the words your and wings, but is still on the top of the chip quote. So it looks like, her hand's sitting on that little bar. And we're getting towards the end of this. I am going to ink up that chip quote a little bit as best as I can, just so that it's not so stark white. And now it's time to tie on a something at the top. This is from a rag rug, so it's just a piece of like chiffon that looked like a good color for this. So I'm tearing it down into a thinner shape. And then I'll do a lark's head knot, which is just, you fold it in half. Where the center is, you insert it through the hole, and I should go through the front. And I know this because I like my knot to be in the front, like, yeah, not like that. So I have to go back, undo it, stick the knot, that center through the front, pull it up, and then this is done. All right, y'all, that is it for this little tag for my week 21 mixed media prompt project. Like I said, if you are interested in maybe getting this, leave me a comment below letting me know that you're interested in the giveaway and that you're a subscriber, and I will pull the winner sometime next week. So let me know by the I've got to look at my calendar. Let me know by the, I can't find it, maybe by the 2nd of March would be the best time to let me know. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you coming by and hanging out. Give me a thumbs up if you like this. Make sure to subscribe and play along if you can. Use that hashtag. I will see y'all later. Bye.